You know, with me experiencing being a transformation coach, I've discovered that people really want to be better. And a lot of times people are not shown the way, but they're thrown into the way.
Don't push me away, don't throw me away. I've got some things I need to say.
If you are a leader of any sort, we have to meet people right there, right where they are. That's the only way we'll be able to really push for effective change. We really want to be better, and we got to help each other get there, y'all, because the world needs to see it.
What's good, family? Please listen, do me a favor. If you have not already, please like and subscribe to the podcast. That's how I grow. That's how I make this thing bigger. That's how I make this thing better. So if you are watching and you have not subscribed or liked, please do me a favor. Like and subscribe to this podcast. Ray Bridging Humans is the place where the people get to hear you and the world gets to see it. Welcome to another episode of Ray Bridging Humans. It's the place where the people get to hear you and the world get to see it. What's up, family? We're back for a second season. We're back, y'all. It's the second season, y'all. This is this is a whole unraveling for me. And I'm just so excited. I got these two beautiful women on the couch tonight, Ray Bridging Humans. These two beautiful. I want y'all just introduce yourselves. Y'all just tell me your name, who you are, whatever. You know, I know y'all, but tell the people who y'all are.
My name is Ken Michelle. I am mother of 3, Gigi of 1. Do you know anything else?
No, that's it. You're good. Yeah, that's it. Straight to what you got.
And I'm Katrenia, mother of 3. No, Gigi.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
None.
I don't know why I ain't thinking about both y'all got
Yeah.
3 apiece. Yeah. So I got two beautiful women on this couch with me. If you have not subscribed, y'all know this is the joining Ray Bridging Humans. You want to be a bridger. You want to be somebody who is making change in the community. You like, share this episode on YouTube. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Apple Music. I'm on Amazon. Please let everybody know about it.
Subscribe.
And subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Right? And y'all, I made myself a promise this season. If it did not, it's me getting the episodes together, me trying to get everything what I wanted to kind of center it around. I was like, if it did not make me nervous, I don't want to do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
I don't want to do it because it's so many people in the podcast space. You know what I'm saying? So many people in the space, and I just wanted to make sure that I am on purpose. On purpose with everything that I'm doing. So I know I just been moving around a lot, so y'all might see a little perspiration over my face, but I'm good. But I'm just, I put a little of this Martell in me a little bit, so I'm like, okay, too, right? We calm down, now. But yeah, we here. This is 42 kicking in, right?
I was about to say that.
I told you. I told you, 40 stuff started shifting.
This started shifting like, God damn.
I've told you for years. Just wait.
Oh my God.
It's coming. I told you.
Oh my God, wow. But I'm real. I'm gonna truck off. It's gonna go away. It's gonna stop, But y'all, I'm so happy to have them here tonight. And this episode, I know this may or may not be a controversial episode, but it's gonna be a telling episode. It's gonna be something that is really, really, really dear to my heart. Because it's a part of my story and who I am. So I wanted to invite two women that I know. For me, they're at the benchmark of motherhood. Just being able to navigate life from a different perspective. I appreciate it. But what's on you? Before we get into the topic, what's on y'all mind? What's going on? Anything in particular on your mind? In real life, right? Because we in a crazy world right now. We're in a really crazy world right now.
Staying grounded and keeping my laugh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's good.
I cannot let it bring me down.
That's good.
Can't.
Yeah, that's because it's a lot, right? It's a no, you're aware.
But I'm not going to let it steal my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to laugh.
You have to.
Yeah.
What else you can?
I think my focus right now is just constantly reminding myself that happiness is a choice.
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's so easy, kind of like what Trina was saying, it's kind of so easy to get like engulfed in lifing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's like every day you have to make like a conscious decision to say, you know what, like despite XYZ, I'm going to choose happiness.
Yeah.
And then you just like Pastor Karen used to tell us, fake it till you feel it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm just gonna act happy until I feel happy, and it'll all just, it'll line up eventually.
And look for happiness in places that you wouldn't.
You
think
have to
it's
change
there.
your perspective.
You have to change your
Definitely.
perspective.
You have to change your
You have
perspective.
to. You have to. I was talking to a couple guys at the shop today, like grown men, married, kids, and everything. And now we see, me and the barbers was talking. We was like, it used to be we just kind of shuck and jive in the barbershop. We just kind of shoot the breeze, talk about this stuff. But now, like, everything is so serious.
Everything's so heavy.
It's heavy,
So
right?
heavy.
Right? It's heavy.
So
So it's
heavy.
like, damn, like we gotta be able to laugh, to own,
And be intentional
and be intentional about it.
laughing.
Yeah, and be intentional about not letting what's going on in the world consume us. But that's what's on my mind as well. I think that with the current state and condition of the world, like to be able to live, because I was telling Melvin today, one of my clients, I said, man, I have to meditate and pray. Now, you used to be able to skip times or whatnot, but man, look, I gotta talk to Creator, because if I don't, I'm gonna be crazy out here in these
For
streets.
sure.
I'm gonna be crazy out here in these streets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we're gonna get to what we're getting to tonight, because we got a lot. We got a whole lot. We got a whole lot. Today's episode is entitled "From Understanding to Advocacy: The Journey into the Queer Perspective from a Black Mother." That's right, you heard me, from Black mothers. There are so many. There's thousands and thousands of men and women who have this story. And I don't know all of them, but I know quite a few of them. And so to be able to have an episode like this, I knew that it would really stoke some interest, because I know a lot of mothers like secretly go through this.
Yes.
And I don't tell nobody, or they may talk to their mama, they may schedule a meeting with their pastor, or they might, but it's a thing. It's a thing. You see more and more of it now. Like the youth are bolder than what our generation was, and they they're more forthcoming, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it, but I wanted to talk to two Black affirming mothers. And if you know any Black mother, any Black father, for that matter as well, that this is a struggle, or this is something that they are going through, or they see their son or their daughter like being different, let them know about this episode.
Yes.
Let them know about this episode. And before I get into the questions, I know these two women, and I've walked with both of their sons, and I love both of their sons like dearly. Those my boys, and I've watched them, and I watched them be different from youth, and I watched them grow up in a world that I know that may kind of shun the young man who's around the girls a lot, or they may, make light or make fun of him and talk about him. And so I made sure that I held on to those boys, because I know that they needed it. And I'm gonna try not to get too emotional on this episode, but I know that the tools that y'all have. My mom, she grew up a baby boomer, so she didn't have the language, she didn't have the tools, and that's something I was at the bank today on the way to work, and I broke down because I thought about, like, not only did I not have the tools to share with my mama what it is I needed or what I felt. She didn't have the tools
To receive it.
to even receive it, to even speak to it. She didn't have the language to speak to it. And I broke down because, and Trina called me last week, I'm giving my mom even more grace. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that in our community, we always want something to blame.
Yes.
Right? We got like, damn.
Somebody has to take the blame.
Has to be, yeah, like what did I do?
Yeah.
What did I say? Like what did I put him around the right people? Did I make sure he have everything he needed? Like, and it was always something. So and I'm just kind of giving the introduction because these are two prolific women, and but I, you know, with how both of your sons are, like they are like very comfortable with who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're very comfortable, and I love and I appreciate it. You know, but I think that for me, you know, as children, right? Even y'all, like if something is not discussed in the household, you automatically think, okay, it ain't right. If it's not just talked about, it ain't right. And so then you start growing, and you see that you're different, and then things, you know, things just get, the shit starts right there, you know. Isolation began there. And so for me, the whole of isolation, for me, brought judgment, me judging myself, secrecy, it brought silence. Like this conversation is so in real time, like I just, like, me and Ken, we talked for like an hour the other week. Like I just was just talking to her about me. Like I had never had a conversation with Ken about me being gay, you know. And I'm learning to embrace even more, you know, the realities of my life. Even now, like for real, emotionally, I'm probably like 12 years old. I'm about 12.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I can see that.
Damn. I'm about 12. Real talk. And the point of this show is not to, there's no agenda, there's no motive. Well, there is a motive. The motive is to bridge humans, to show you, you know, to treat people better. I don't care what you believe religiously.
Yeah.
I don't care what you stand by or the biases that you have. What you understand. Like how you treat people is everything.
It's everything.
Right? It's everything. And in that hold of judgment and secrecy and privacy, like I learned to perform. You know, you just perform.
Yep.
And put the mask on. I learned codependency. I learned, you know, to just make sure you do what you have to. And I'm a masculine presenting man. This is naturally who I am. You know, this is naturally who I am. I don't put on the front or anything. So it's harder for somebody like me, you know what I'm saying, that I present masculine. So people don't mind saying shit about gay people around me. They don't mind talking about it. They don't mind like expressing how they feel, because most of the time they don't know.
Right.
They don't
Ooh,
know.
I nip this shit in the bud.
Yeah, you did. Immediate. Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. Like, okay, let me stop you right there.
Yeah. And so I wanted to just kind of, there's no particular order, you know, however you feel led to answer and talk. But I just want to kind of open up the conversation to let y'all know this is what this is, and I'm excited about it. But either one of y'all can answer first. It don't matter who go. But like, what was the first initial reaction when you learned that you had a black gay son? Like, and how have your thoughts of that evolved over time?
So, you know how you've seen like that meme that says, or like the post that says, if I ever hit the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there'll be signs.
Mm-hmm.
There were signs.
Wow.
So I knew, I can say for sure that I knew when he was about 3.
Wow.
And then when I look, like in hindsight, when I look back and I see all the pictures of when he was 1, 'cause I have pictures of him with his sister's purse on,
wow,
and her heels, and he would have on like a big t-shirt that he probably had slept in or whatever, so it looks like a dress because it's a big t-shirt. Like so, and he's walking around with her purse and her heels, and I didn't think anything of it because he's one.
Yeah.
And he's just emulating what he's seen his sister do. So it was nothing. And then when he was 3, I was talking to a guy or whatever, and he was like a model, and so his profile picture came up on my phone when he called me one day.
Wow. Okay.
3 years old now. My baby said, "Ooh, he fine."
Oh. Wow.
I said, "Oh,
wow. 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 Wow.
So I told the backstory to say that when he told me, I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And he was like, "What do you mean, okay?" I said, "I know."
Yeah.
So how do you know?
Yeah.
So I had to tell him a story about when he was 3. I said, "Let me tell you what you did when you were 3." Now, I knew, but I tried to curb it.
Okay.
I didn't want to accept that. I was deep in church, and I didn't want to accept it. And I tried. I tried to curb it, you know. And the crazy part is, this is how and I don't care who feels how whatever about what I'm about to say, but this is how God works, because me trying to curb that thing in him, I sent him to Ray.
Well,
I'm like,
wow.
Because that was God's work.
That was God's work.
Wow.
Can you talk to my baby? Can you work with him?
That was God's work.
I think I see a little something. He might have been maybe about 14, 15 at the time. I see a little something. I just hanging out with the girls, just like you just said. He's always with the girls.
Yeah.
Always,
Yeah.
And I was like, can you talk to him? Can you mentor him for me? Unbeknownst to me,
Yeah.
I was sending him to the right person.
Wow.
Work.
And it's before you got here. I said, Trent, I don't know if Ken remember when we had we was downtown. We had the conversation. I said, I don't think she knew who she was.
I didn't, but God knew.
Yeah,
God knew.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Wow. Ken.
So yeah, when he told me, I was like, I know. What you want? What you want for dinner?
Yeah. Wow.
What else we talk about? Because we can get past that part.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What about you, Trina?
I always knew Jared was gay. He didn't have any sisters. None of that. The only thing that he ever did was he played in my makeup one day. Sent my mama over the top. You need to stop wearing makeup because that boy is like.
So you gotta stop wearing makeup.
I gotta stop wearing makeup because no, I knew. I knew.
Wow.
It wasn't a thing other than him putting the makeup on, but he did he was putting the makeup on because he was watching me put on makeup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that didn't. It wasn't a. Oh my God, he's gay. I always knew he was gay.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And even with you guys saying what y'all just said, like has there ever been any major pushback from like men or people who like, man, what's like me and y'all have dated or talked to like what?
I didn't date.
What?
My focus was my children.
Yeah.
So I don't date. I did tell them one day that I did apologize to them because I felt like had I dated in front of them, they would have had a better example of what a relationship should
So you
be like.
didn't date in front of them?
I didn't date, period.
Yeah, okay.
I had people, you know what I'm saying?
You know.
Only because they were at their daddy house.
Yeah.
But no, in front of, no, it was much later.
Yeah.
I dated Curtis for a while, so they saw that. But they were teenagers by that point. But no, when so my middle son, the one that is gay, Jeremiah, when I got pregnant with him Valentine's Day of '98, his dad and I were together the week before, so we had already separated because he had a girlfriend, and he came back that week before, crying, apologizing, I love you, I want to be with my family. Okay, great. That Saturday, I finally gave him some. I got pregnant. Valentine's Day. Well, Sunday was great. Monday, he went to work. Didn't come home that Monday night. Tuesday morning, I took him to work. We've never been together since. We didn't get divorced till 2003.
Oh, wow.
So I carried Jeremiah the whole pregnancy by myself. Because I'm not a cheater, so you're just not going to cheat on me.
Right.
I just can't,
Yeah.
So, but my focus was them and my career. You know what I'm saying? That's what my focus was. So I felt like I should have probably dated in front of them to give them some kind of example of a healthy relationship, but I didn't, so
It's
I can't.
okay.
I
I
can't
dated
take
in
it
front of mine, and I still didn't get It's a luck of the draw, like for real. So.
But just teaching him to be a good human. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Now my pushback came from my parents because they were in church. They were saved, sanctified. It's gonna take you to church and pray for you. And I was like, no, we don't need prayer.
Yeah.
We need support.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because from as far back as I can remember, this is where I didn't know it at the time. I learned later on through therapy that I was an empath. But the reason I didn't think he needed to be fixed or whatever, I've always loved art, music, dance, anything creative, full of color. I've always loved it. Always. That wasn't anything that anybody taught me. So this is how you love dance. This is how you love paintings. This is how you love museums. This is how, nobody taught me that. It's something I always loved. I was born with that. It's natural. So when he was born, and I knew that he was gay, probably for sure when he was about 2, I never felt like, did I have him around somebody? That's just who he was. I didn't teach him. And my counter to my parents was, well, y'all didn't teach me how to be heterosexual. Y'all didn't teach me to like boys. I like boys.
Yeah. And in our community, like the natural inclination is that, from a mother or a father's perspective, like I did something.
Right.
I did something.
Or who touched you.
Or who,
Right. That's what his dad asked her.
Or who
Did somebody touch you?
touch you.
Yeah.
I strange that I didn't get those questions until I was like well into my adulthood. Like did somebody touch you? Did somebody and it was.
Did somebody touch you?
Right. No, nobody's ever like sexually molested me or did anything to me that I didn't want. And it was nothing from an early age, but this is always who I've been, but it's interesting y'all say this because I wanted to kind of dive into like the realization of it, like because y'all are we're millennials and X's, so how we were raised to think a certain way about gay. We were raised to think and feel a certain way about gay. So how did you meet that with your new reality of a soul that came out of you? Is this like how did y'all meet that? What did that look like?
Well, it was never a meeting for me.
You always
Because I didn't start out in church like my parents up until I was 8. Like I looked at Soul Train and wore Theon's number 5 nail polish. My uncle, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I wore pants. I danced. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I got you.
So there was no arrival for me. It's just okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a thing for me. My thing was, I remember telling my best friend that I was completely prepared to never speak to my parents again if they tried to alienate him. Because he was mine.
Wow. Yes.
He was mine. He came from me.
Yes.
Ain't nothing wrong with him.
Yes.
So you're not gonna make him feel like anything's wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was literally like ready to go to battle. Like you don't fuck with him, well then you don't fuck with none of us.
Wow.
Like I was gonna totally.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't going to allow anybody. None of them, period. But specifically, since we're talking about my gay son, no, you're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with him.
Yeah. What about you, Ken?
I had to arrive.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
Okay.
I had to arrive.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me tell you something else that's funny. So I remember vividly when AJ was maybe 5, and we lived in Nashville. And I don't even recall who said what, but somebody brought it to my attention that AJ may be a little.
Yellow.
And no, I know what it was. That wasn't it. He had a little girlfriend.
Okay.
Rachel.
Okay.
A little white girl.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, Rachel. Okay.
And he loved Rachel. And when he watched this, if you ask him, he'll tell you he loved Rachel. And it was just Rachel this and Rachel that. And Rachel's parents loved AJ. And they come pick them up and go to the park and yada, yada, yada. And what someone said to me was, so you'll be okay with AJ dating a white girl? Y'all, hold on.
Okay.
I said, yo, hold on. I said, I'd rather him bring home a white girl than a black man.
Oh, wow. Yes.
I said it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was convinced
Absolutely.
that was how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so serious. I'd rather.
Mm-hmm.
And then life said, aha, that
Wow.
bitch.
Wow.
Watch this.
Oh
So
God.
when I started really just seeing it, I tried everything. I put him in football. I wanted to make him tough.
Mm-hmm.
We were living in Nashville. I put him in football. Cameron, which is my oldest son, All-American, whatever sport.
Cam
Cam the man.
Yeah.
Like for real. Whatever sport he can play it, he can do it. He is alpha male supreme.
Yeah.
Put him in football. Put AJ in football with him. I give it.
AJ,
Y'all,
no.
I tried, okay?
You did what you need to do.
That's understandable.
That's understandable. That was
Because
understandable.
I thought that I could fix it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to pick AJ up from football, and the coach said, "Mom,
This ain't it.
I don't think he
This
wants to
ain't
do
it.
this." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? I done got him his, practice
all this
this,
stuff.
Oh,
all
I got all the
this shit.
stuff,
Like, what
all
do
the
you mean? I
things,
want to do it." He said, "Well, Mom, halfway through practice, we realized we didn't see AJ." And we looked around and AJ was halfway up Antioch. We done walked off the practice and they ran to get him to bring him back. And he was like, "I want to go." They're like, "Where are you going?" He said, "I want to go home.
Yeah, we're going home. What the fuck? Like, I'm not doing that.
I want to go home. I want to do this. I want to do this. This is not me." And so that was that. And then I think around the time when he was maybe about 13 or 14, I started really seeing the shift.
Okay.
I really saw it, and I was like, okay, I don't think ain't no running from this.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I still wasn't necessarily ready to embrace it because I had been beat over the head with that Bible for so long that I was afraid. I was more afraid than anything to embrace it because embracing it made it real. And then now this is something that we're gonna have to deal with. Like we're gonna have to, tackle it head on.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready for that for him, and I wasn't ready for that for me either.
Wow.
So he first told me because he was playing one of those, what's that little IMVU game? It's it was like with the people. And it's like people basically, and you pick a character. It's like Sims, but it was IMVU.
Okay.
And he was a girl.
Okay.
And Cam came and told me, "Mom, you need to watch him." Again, the alpha male of the house. You need to watch him. He's a girl on this game. So I go talk to AJ about it. And I noticed all of his friends, because AJ, you can tell, but he's still masculine presenting.
Yeah.
But you can tell because he got, a little twang in his voice a little bit or whatever. But I noticed his friends, like, they were like, I'm like, okay, this whole circle is a little questionable.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And so he first told me he was bisexual.
Okay.
And so I was like, because he had a girlfriend in 6th grade. So I could believe bisexual was believable, right? I wanted to accept bisexual. So I was like, okay. And then as he got a little bit older, I was like, yeah. And I had a teacher call me, a male teacher. And let me tell you something. That stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, black men feel like, oh, well, you don't have a daddy around, so I need to be his daddy.
Yeah.
Nigga,
Yeah.
he got a papa. My daddy was his daddy. It's okay. Like we don't need nothing from you, but for you to teach him. That's your job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I had a male teacher call me and said, Miss Freeman, I just want to let you know that AJ's been wearing lip gloss. I said, okay. He said, did you hear what I said? I said, did you hear what I said? I said, what? That's what you called me at work
Wow. To
tell me that he's wearing lip gloss? What is right? What is he failing? Tell me something about that. So that went nowhere. But then once I started, that was kind of like the eye-opening thing for me. And then I noticed that AJ he's already an introvert, but he was like turtle shell.
Yeah.
Like he just...
You go into it.
I literally could just see this dark cloud over him. And it was like no matter what I would say or what I would do to try to pull him out of it, to try to make him happy, try to whatever, it was not shifting. It was going he was like the little boy, like on Charlie Brown, the one with the little cloud over. That's how my son was. He was just gloomy all the time, and nothing I could do would pull him out of it. And then when he finally said what he said to me that day in the kitchen and told me he was gay, and I was like, okay. Instant. Cloud gone. Rainbow.
Wow.
No pun intended.
Wow.
Rainbow.
Wow.
Instantly.
And for those of you who are watching, because I know a lot of you probably like clenching your pearls and mad and texting your friends right now. So when you give your scripture, when you give your shaming speeches and everything, you know, as if that's going to work. Like it's been scientifically proven that nobody can be shamed into a change. Nobody. And so when you
whether you're a hoarder, whether you're a gambler, whether you're
whatever
on drugs, whatever, shaming doesn't work.
You cannot be shamed and changed.
Whether
And
you're a
so
whoremonger, because people like to overlook that.
Right.
Like that's okay, but being gay isn't. Make it make sense.
And these are things that I want y'all to hear these two mothers just said, because like a young man, we go through that. We go through that. And so when you get to a place to where it's like, damn, like, and just, I want y'all to know that I have 30 and 40 and 50-year-old associates and friends who still have not had a conversation with their mama to this day.
I can believe that.
And so if y'all can for a second, because I intently did this episode because I wanted them to be able to hear and see, because like we live life, right? And so a lot of them, you know, they speak like, well, I mean, I know they know, but still, like, but they never have any kind of discussion about a person. Like they never talk, like that's off limits. Like we just don't talk about that. So one thing I do now with a lot of them who, especially the ones that I'm closer to, I remind them, bro, you are loved. You are loved. And so just for a second, you know, I just wanted to do this. If y'all can like really speak to how y'all already know. Mama know. And I specifically brought mamas on the episode today to have this conversation because y'all be knowing. And so I think that because we're in the hole of isolation so long, we feel like, you know, they don't see me. Don't nobody know. They don't recognize. So if y'all can speak to, like, y'all just told stories, but just kind of affirm that mama know.
Yeah.
Because you're mine.
Absolutely.
I know things about you that you don't know.
Exactly.
You are mine.
Yes.
Wow.
I carried you. I birthed you. I raised you.
Wow.
You're mine. I know you better than I probably know myself.
Dang.
And because when as being a parent and an intentional parent and a connected parent, you pay attention.
Absolutely.
You pay attention and you study. So like when we say we know you, it's not just because I birthed you. It's not just because I raised you. It's because I've studied you.
Yeah.
Like good parents actually study and pay attention to their children.
Yeah.
So things like, oh, I know you're upset because your demeanor or or your tone or you know what I'm saying? Like anything just as small as that, we literally we're like
don't eat.
We're like psychologists or psychiatrists. Like we're literally just watching paying attention to your movements, your tone, your gestures, your this, your that.
Man.
So all the things that you think that you're potentially hiding, we see it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we know.
About you, Trina.
Yeah, we know.
You know,
A mother
Yes.
knows her children.
Absolutely.
And just because you birth people doesn't make you a mother.
Facts.
Okay. But a mother, we know our children. We know if you get a phone call and they say so and so didn't do their homework. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it wasn't just because I know what your behavior is at home. I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you're disheveled and unorganized at home, you're the same way at school.
Yeah.
So that's not a surprise. Yeah, we know our children.
And just hearing y'all and just bringing it home for me, I didn't have these conversations with my mama. Like I literally did not have a conversation with my mother until I turned like 31. 31 years old. That's when
It's a long time to be holding something in like that.
A long time. But I felt that if I praise God hard enough, if I serve in church hard enough, if I have enough prayer meetings and Bible studies.
Because that's what they tell us.
That's what they tell us. Like, that's what they tell us. Like, I felt like if I did this long enough, it would take this out of me. My thought process, when I can remember being like 16 or 17. And I would think, man, I'm gonna get about 22, 23, I'm gonna get me a girlfriend, I'm gonna get married, have some kids, I'm gonna be through with this stuff, bro. And so all of us think that. We be thinking that, like,
that you'll outgrow.
Yeah, I'm just gonna outgrow. I'm gonna be through with this because how it's talked about is something that you can get rid of.
It's a phase.
It's a phase, or it's
a demon.
It's a demon. It's a demon. It's a demon on you. It's something you can get rid of. And so I had in my head by the age of 23, 25, I was gonna find me a fine ass girl. I was gonna get her, and put a couple babies in her, have a family, and I'll say this right now, right here. If I knew that it only progresses with time, I would have handled it better as a young man. If I knew that this ain't going nowhere. It's not going. It's who we are. It's who we are. And one thing that I shared this with you now because this has pushed me to. I read so much now, and I study so much, and I follow a lot of theologians online, and a lot of like non-gay, non-queer theologians, and one said something the other week that really messed me up. He said, and this is not a theological conversation, so I know it's going to be a lot of Bible thumping, but it's wrong, and this man said, if you have already redefined what slavery means from the Bible, if you've already redefined what eating shellfish means from the Bible, you've already done the work you need to do. You've already done the work you need to do to understand that this is but we read the Bible so surface.
Absolutely.
We don't dig beneath the surface. I had to say this, we don't dig beneath the surface. One thing, I don't mess with these guys a lot, but Hebrew Israelites, like, they go hard in the paint.
Oh, yeah.
They go fucking hard in the paint. Dedicated. And I respect them so much because they read and they know. And so many of us, we operate on the surface level on what the Bible says about this. And so
or we grasp on to the things that we agree with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm noticing.
Absolutely.
It's like you own,
You
like
ignore the other stuff.
you ignore the other stuff.
Yeah.
So you just you take whatever part that you actually are okay with.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what you
yes. You hold on tight. You hold on tight, and people have died. So many people, and I wanted to ask y'all, like, even before you had Jared, before you had Anthony, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced learning to unlearn, like, social biases that you had? Like, what about just the queer life when you realize that I got one of these little motherfuckers with me? You know, like what was some of the unlearning you had to learn for any mother or father or cousin or auntie watching? What did you have to unlearn? Like, and you grew up. You both Christian women. You grew up in that, so we grew up in the Bible Belt. So what was your unlearning like?
Well, my unlearning was real simple. You know how the WWJD was so popping. You know, what would Jesus do?
Oh, Jesus.
Like, that's literally what I went with.
Wow.
What would Jesus do with this?
Wow.
What would Jesus do with this? Plus, I went further than the 66 books that we were told is the Holy Scripture. I went and dug deeper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I became more truly aligned with the works of Christ.
Yes.
Just
Not the Sadducees, not the religion, but
Mm-hmm.
Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And the only people that Christ got down on was the church people,
Yeah.
and how they were defiling the temple.
Yeah.
But anybody else, the lady that they were gonna stone, she was with a married man or whatever. Okay, where to do that?
Yeah.
And anybody who got something to say, you ain't never done nothing, throw the first stone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With his back turned.
Mm-hmm.
With his back turned. Okay, well, anybody got, okay, well, whoever who's never done anything, throw the first stone. You heard stones dropping, and they were gone. Because they had shit too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing for me.
Yeah. You're unlearning.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the thing. But again, I really, and I haven't done enough research on it. I'm going to do it now because I have more time. But I never had that association with judgment. I was more judgmental of myself than other people. Because once my parents, with my mom, got saved when I was 8, I went from, I knew who God was. I had experienced God's presence before, and it was beautiful. But when I started going, when she took me to church, that guy was an angry dude. He was always mad. And I didn't understand why. I like the other God that I knew before, who was very loving.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was unlearning, was that oppression, that oppressive religion. So I was doing that. Like, I was afraid to go to sleep. I told you this, 10 years of my life. I was afraid to go to sleep every single night. I prayed every single night in tears, please don't take me in my sleep. I'm sorry that I liked the Phil Collins song. I'm sorry that I liked the Alvin Ailey Dance Company. I'm sorry. Like, I was genuinely sorry for loving something that I had no choice. There was not a choice. I love music. I love art. I love dance. I love sculpt. All of that. It was just a part of who I was. So, having a gay son, I knew he didn't have a choice. He was just born that way, just like I was. Born the way I was born.
Exactly.
Wow.
So my unlearning came from how to not be mean and bitter to other people.
Wow.
That was what it was for me.
Wow.
That was what it was for me.
Wow. What about you, Ken?
I think for me, my unlearning was the fact that I had to embrace all of him being gay. So it got to a point, like, in my embracing and, us, moving forward with it, he went through a phase where he wouldn't do it here, but he would go to Atlanta. And when he went to Atlanta, he would be feminine presenting. And at first, it hurt my heart so bad. Because I was like, and I remember saying, okay, fine if you're gay. Okay, fine. But you're still a boy. I still want you to be a boy. And that was what I wanted. And at some point, I heard what I was saying, and I was like, do you hear yourself? Like, do you really hear yourself? You can't say I accept you, but then also put him in a box.
Wow.
That's not how this works.
Wow.
And so I had to unlearn, because that was still a part of like my steps in the acceptance process. You know what I mean? And so I had to accept that if that's how he felt comfortable, then that was all that mattered.
Wow.
It's not about me and how I want him to dress. It's about how he feels. And if he felt comfortable that way, then okay, because that's all that matters. I remember at one point I thought how painful it must feel for someone to have to hide the most important part about them to everyone that they love. Like, that has to be heavy.
Yes.
That has to be painful.
Yes.
And I understood why there are so many people who are living on the down low, or worst case scenario, take their own lives.
Yeah.
And there was no way in fuck
Yes.
I was about to let somebody, anybody, I don't care about the church, I don't care about this Bible that you putting in my face, I don't care about none of that shit. Because if you are telling me that I'm supposed to feel this way about my son, and it could potentially lead to me not having a son, F you and everything you stand for. And I once I grasped that concept, that my son being unhappy could potentially lead to him taking his own life, I don't care about nothing. I don't care. And it's been a few times that I'll tell people, like, yeah, he was Jessica Rabbit, or whatever the rabbit was on Space Jam. What's the rabbit? The girl rabbit. He was the girl rabbit.
Lola Bunny.
Lola Bunny.
I wore his Lola Bunny for Halloween. I wore his costume. But I would tell people, like, he was Lola Bunny, he was so cute, and I text him, and he'll tell you. I'll randomly text him, send me the picture when you were Lola Bunny, I want to show somebody. If that was how he was comfortable, then okay. Now, in just to be transparent, does it make me more comfortable that he's out of that phase and that he is masculine presenting? Yes. But it's not because of what I want. It's because I'm so afraid of the world. That's my biggest issue now. It's not me. I am full speed ahead. Mama bear.
Right.
I'm there. Like, I fully accept it. We talk about boyfriends. We talk about everything. And I'm fine. But the part that scares me the most is the world.
The world.
The thing that I can't control. The thing that I can't
So
make somebody love him like I love him.
Right.
I can't make someone accept him like I accept him. I can't make someone see him how I see him. And so that's the part that I fear the most when it comes to the things that I had to unlearn. It's like, yeah, I unlearned it, but it still makes me a little, because at any point he could decide, and I'll be like, oh. And it's not because I don't want that for him. I just want him to be able to do that.
Be safe.
And be safe and be comfortable.
Be safe.
So to that point, and Raymond knows this, the way that I handled that with Jeremiah, it was so much of me affirming him as being a whole person, and that his thoughts of who he was going to affect his choosing of people to attach himself to.
Yes.
So just like you said that people asked the question, if we didn't affirm them, what would happen? That was because I grew up in church. I saw young men, amazing young men, attached to older gay men who treated them like trash.
Jesus.
And that's what I let me tell you, you don't really know.
Both of y'all the same person. y'all kids. Listen.
When it comes to, and this is for my oldest.
Yeah.
With a woman that ain't baby, I will get you. It will take them a long time to find all of you. It'll take a long time for them to find all of you.
Let me tell you
Because I
about
will
this
cut you
man
up.
that worked with AJ.
Okay. Yeah.
He was.
Let's do it.
AJ was working at this. I'm not gonna say where he was working, but he was working at this place. And at the time, I think he was 19.
Mm-hmm.
And he came home and he told me that some man. He told me the man was like 51.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. Yeah.
Approached him at work
Mm-hmm.
and said, tried to get him to go in the bathroom with him. Now this
Wow.
man is married.
Wow. Wow.
Not to a man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a woman.
I said, I tell you what. Because see, we just talked about how we don't really know each other. I said, the next time that man, I said, what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't know his name because he's so nonchalant.
Yeah.
Next time he approaches you, ask him his name. I need first and last name.
Yeah.
I was fully
You was
prepared.
ready. You was ready. Let's go.
Let's go get him.
Let's do it.
I was fully prepared. By the time I got done with that man, because that wife was about to know, his church, if he attended somewhere and worshiped on a regular basis, they were about to know.
Yeah.
I was fully prepared.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a part of me that's sad that I didn't get to do that. Because I really I wanted to rock his world.
Because he was gonna
leave
rock
my
your
baby
child.
the
Leave him alone.
fuck
Right.
alone.
Right.
Leave him alone.
And I want both of you to understand something right now. What if y'all boys didn't have the relationship? Imagine if he didn't have the relationship that y'all have with y'all boys. What I know a young man would have done, he would have latched on to that feeling.
He would latch on to anything.
So tough and
Yes.
so hard because
Just wanting to be accepted.
Just wanting to be accepted.
To be
And
accepted.
seen.
Mm-hmm.
And seen.
And love.
And love, you know, and that's tough. That's tough.
That you would just gravitate to any, you'll
Yes.
take whatever you
Yes.
can get
Any kind of attention.
just to get it.
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Oh my
not mine.
God.
That wasn't gonna happen.
Oh my God.
No. No.
That got me thinking about so much, and I'm just so thankful. If you're watching this episode, like, to understand that this is real life, and I've been bold enough to have this conversation, and I'm just sitting like, damn, like, I mean, you having this conversation with two mothers, and because y'all are who we come from, y'all are who we come from, you know what I'm saying, and both of your boys, like, it's been like when they sit in my chair and when they come, like, what you doing, boy? Like, what's up? Who you dating? Who you talking to? I ask those questions.
Oh, you know, I had people, you know, watching out for Jeremiah because, you know, there'd be the different little Facebook groups or whatever. So there's a guy, and I won't call his name, and he's very out, very prominent. I was like, if you see him anywhere,
He don't mind you saying his name. D. Smith. D. Smith, yeah.
Baby, I said, D,
Yeah.
if you see him, he said, oh no, I got you. Don't worry about it. He said, I get him together. Thank you.
Nice.
Because I know. So, and it's unfortunate, and I hope this isn't taken the wrong way, but there are so many of the older gay men who didn't receive affirmation and support.
Yeah.
They're old, bitter punks.
Yeah.
And they want to fuck over the younger ones.
Yeah.
Have them as their toys. Whatever.
Right.
My kid ain't no motherfucking toy.
Right.
He's not anything
Right.
that you got to demean to make yourself feel better.
Feel
You ain't
better.
Superman. You don't need to be rescued. You need to be rescued.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you raggedy, how the fuck you think you're gonna build him up? You can't.
You cannot.
You can't. Because all of your bleeding, you're gonna bleed on him.
Bleed on him.
You're gonna bleed on my kid.
You gonna bleed on him.
You're gonna bleed on my kid.
Yeah.
So I was very adamant. If you see him anywhere, I don't care what kind of, if it is if it's an unhealthy circle of people, walk up to him and tell him you gotta roll up with me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that he was like, I ain't never seen him, but if I do, thank you, because he used to be a part of the church scene.
It's the same.
Absolutely,
It still takes
absolutely. And I did not want to be. Not that I didn't trust Jeremiah, but Jeremiah is very caring and loving like me. So I know that there are vultures out there that prey on young men who are like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you won't gonna get that one.
Yeah.
You won't get that one.
Yeah.
No, you won't get that one because I promise you, it'd been real bad.
Yeah.
It'd been real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Real
Wow.
bad.
And just I'm gonna put a pin right here, and we're gonna do a part 2. And so we'll be back next week for the part 2. Well, we gonna be here. Well, I got to make this a part 2 because I want to make sure we get everything in. See y'all next week. Ray Bridge and Hermes.
See you
Where I
next
need to see
week.
you.